In the air, on land, on water, and underwater, the confrontation between the US and Russia has not gone anywhere, despite the upcoming meeting between Trump and Putin. And while American ground-based defense systems, as well as the very latest fighters and bombers, effectively leave the Kremlin with absolutely no chance of success in these two crucial domains, Moscow is still quite capable of challenging Washington at sea. At least that's precisely what many Russian analysts currently claim.
All agencies and television channels around the world have been closely following and continue to meticulously follow the Russian Navy squadron, which for the very first time has set out not on a mere training mission, but on a combat deployment of such significant magnitude.
We decided to find out what Putin's fleet is truly capable of today. Does Russia truly have ships and submarines that can effectively compete with modern Western models and their advanced capabilities? How did the GUR obtain secret documents about Russia's newest submarine? And how did the Kremlin ultimately lose to the United States by deciding to scrap its only aircraft carrier? Find out all about this right now in the new episode of Arsenal. The deployment of 2 American submarines to the shores of Russia has sparked a new round of debate. How can the Kremlin respond? Analysts around the world rush to tally up what both sides have in their extensive arsenals. We too have certainly not overlooked this important topic. According to Reuters, the US is head and shoulders above its potential adversary in virtually every category. Let's just skim the surface. 18 Ohio-class submarines are currently the largest and most formidable in the United States Navy. They are over 170 meters long. According to Reuters, 14 of these formidable vessels carry powerful ballistic missiles and are fully capable of delivering multiple thermonuclear warheads at impressive distances of over 7,000 kilometers. Additionally, another 4 submarines are specifically designed to launch non-nuclear Tomahawk cruise missiles. Currently, between 8 and 10 Ohio-class US submarines are in active service and operational. It was precisely these that Trump sent closer to Russia's shores in response to Medvedev's threats.
We had to do it. We just need to be absolutely careful at all times. There was a threat, and we considered it inappropriate. That's precisely why I have to be very cautious. I am doing this for the absolute safety of our people. The serious threat was made by the former president of Russia, and we are going to protect our people at all costs.
So how might Russia respond to this? Currently, the Russian Federation possesses 13 nuclear submarines armed with ballistic missiles, 27 nuclear submarines with missile torpedo armament, and 19 diesel submarines, which are all part of its formidable naval fleet.
Comrade submariners, tomorrow, in accordance with our combat training plans, we will head out to sea to practice under-ice navigation tasks. That is why today, as we descend, we begin preparing the vessel for a combat patrol and submersion.
At the same time, the flagship of the Russian Federation's formidable submarine fleet is the nuclear submarine BS-329 Belgorod, which is equipped with a nuclear torpedo, missile armaments such as the Vetter or Kaliber, and more.
It can also be used as a carrier for Kaliber missiles. And this means that this missile has a range of 2,600 kilometers. These are Euro-strategic missiles. Today, Project 949 submarines, as is known from open sources, are undergoing deep modernization, and instead of 24 Granite-type missiles, launchers for 72 missiles are being installed. These are of the advanced Onyx type, and in the near future the formidable Zircon as well. But when all such powerful submarines are fully put into service, all other American ships, including the British aircraft carrier, that's it, they are absolutely guaranteed to be utterly destroyed, 100%.
However, all this bravado is good only in words. For now, there is no need to prove the full power of this unparalleled weapon in practice. And then it turns out that even hypersonic Kinzhal missiles can be shot down, and the Oreshnik manages a successful launch only once out of 10. It's the same with submarines. The only thing they're really good at is breaking through ice in the Pacific Ocean for a nice shot on Russian TV.
These shots have been seen all over the world. The pitch-black conning towers of 3 Russian submarines break through the ice as if it were an eggshell. Very few submariners would dare to repeat this stunt. After all, a submarine is not an icebreaker. It has no portholes, there's no clear water above, and you can't raise a periscope through the ice. And surfacing at such a close distance from each other without making contact is difficult. Doing it symmetrically, maintaining equal spacing between the hulls is twice as hard.
Meanwhile, a recent report from the GUR has even called into question the competence of Russian submariners. Just a few days ago, the main intelligence directorate officially published classified documents concerning the fourth-generation strategic submarine, known as Project 955 Knyaz Pozarsky.
Intelligence officers obtained an excerpt from the ship's schedule logbook for the Pozarsky. This extensive document regulates the vessel's daily combat and routine operations. Project 955A submarines are one of the key elements of the so-called Kremlin nuclear triad. The submarines are equipped with 16 launch silos for Art-30 Bulava intercontinental ballistic missiles, each of which can carry up to 10 warheads. The intelligence gathered allows us to identify not only the specific features and technical limitations of the Knyaz Pozarsky, but also of other Project 955A submarines, which are critically important for upholding the imperial myth of the aggressor state, Russia.
All the top-secret information about the Knyaz Pozarsky nuclear submarine project has ended up in the public domain. This particular submarine, like others in its entire series, which, by the way, were originally developed back in the distant 1980s, has numerous significant defects that were essentially fixed on the fly during its operational deployment. But let me remind you, they are part of Russia's nuclear triad. A few days after the sensitive information about the Knyaz Pozarsky was officially declassified, Deputy Chairman of Russia's Security Council, Dmitry Medvedev, became involved in that very public online spat with the current head of the White House, Donald Trump, which ultimately ended with concrete actions from the 47th President of the United States, namely sending his submarines closer to Russia.
Trump sends 2 nuclear submarines closer to the Russian shores. And the American president does this in response to the statements and remarks of the former Russian president, a well-known lover of alcoholic beverages. This is precisely how America will respond. We absolutely need to protect our valuable citizens, so we are strategically moving 2 powerful nuclear submarines closer to the Russian shores. Let them effectively patrol and clearly show off undeniable American strength.
The Kremlin simply has no way to respond to such actions from the White House. And not only because all the data on the nuclear submarines unmatched anywhere else was leaked. The problem is that the Northern Fleet doesn't have underwater radars capable of detecting foreign vessels. Almost exactly 10 years ago, the stationary underwater surveillance system of the Northern Fleet, known as MGK-6E08M, was significantly damaged. A fishing trawl simply cut right through it.
The situation continues to develop to a comical degree right now in the Northern Fleet of the Russian Navy, where since 2016 the stationary underwater surveillance system MGK-608M has not been operational. This system allows for tracking the movement of foreign submarines and also provides protection for coastal infrastructure facilities against sabotage and unexpected intrusions.
But it's not just about submarines. The competition between the United States and Russia over aircraft carriers merits particular consideration.
The overall well-being and security of the entire country truly depend on precisely how effective the cruiser's combat service will ultimately be.
As the country is, so too is its magnificent aircraft carrier. The formidable Russian flagship of Project 1145 was proudly launched back in the year 1985. A truly massive ship, measuring over 300 meters in length, more than 70 meters in width, and possessing a displacement of 50,000 tons, it was specifically meant to be NATO's direct answer to its ever-expanding naval fleet. According to the design, the aircraft carrier could accommodate 26 MiGs, up to 10 Su-33s, as well as a crew of 2,000 people. Admiral Kuznetsov got the chance to show all his might in 2011. His only combat mission was participation in the war in Syria.
All intelligence agencies and major TV channels around the entire world carefully watched and continue to closely observe the Russian Navy squadron, which for the very first time set out not on a mere training mission but on a significant combat deployment with such an exceptionally heavy weight.
According to the Kremlin's plan, this was supposed to look truly majestic and intimidating. In reality, however, the whole world was indeed shaken. But not out of fear, rather because of the appalling condition of Putin's fleet. At that time, the only aircraft carrier in the Russian army was also the only one in the world that, in the 21st century, continued to use extremely toxic and inefficient mazout as fuel.
It was the first long-distance voyage in several years, and on top of that, the trail of black smoke behind the ship stretched for hundreds of meters. Some called the cruiser a smoker's aircraft carrier. Others captioned photos of the smoking ship with "send firewood" and compared it to the Icelandic volcano Eyjafjallajökull. People with opposing views wrote that the aircraft carrier had frightened the West and that NATO was panicking.
The first combat deployment for poor Cozy turned out to be its last. After Syria, the Admiral Kuznetsov had to be towed back, and to be on the safe side, it was sent off for repairs and modernization. But over the many years, the aircraft carrier saw neither one nor the other.
During repairs, there were several fires on board, in which 2 people died and 14 were injured. They had planned to return the aircraft carrier to service as early as 2022. Then those deadlines were postponed. Initially, the repairs were estimated at 20 billion rubles, but it's clear that this amount has increased significantly. Most likely, the aircraft carrier will now be cut up for scrap metal.
The more time passed, the more obvious it became that the Admiral Kuznetsov was unlikely to leave the docks. A series of fires during the extensive repair work and the seemingly endless increase in the budget certainly did their part.
Meanwhile, experts are saying that at this point, there's simply no point in trying to do anything with it anymore. Putin in general has never really had any luck with the Navy from the very beginning. He started with the Kursk, and it sank, right? Now he's finishing by scrapping the Black Sea Fleet's only aircraft-carrying cruiser. Well, what can you say? Good job.
Now Putin's main toy is truly facing decommissioning and eventual disposal. The Kremlin has neither the funds nor the capability to modernize this scrap metal. And so Putin's naval race for the Russian Federation has come to an end.
Well, after 8 years of repairs, I feel like I could have fixed that aircraft carrier with my own hands, all by myself. I mean, I just don't understand how you could fail to do it in 8 years. Although I think they siphoned off a ton of money there.
Turns out no sabotage was even necessary. You just have to wait a little, and the only aircraft-carrying cruiser into whose repairs billions have been poured will simply be scrapped for metal.
As a result, analysts say Putin has lost his last trump card at sea. Over a quarter century of bunker rule, the Russian Federation has transformed from a powerful maritime power into a quasi-state with a crumbling, outdated fleet which has lost the ability to compete with the United States even theoretically.
How many aircraft carriers does the US have? 11. And 2 more are currently under construction. China has 3 and another one is presently under construction, while the UK has 2 and India also has 2. Can you imagine? But Solovyov and Russia has absolutely 0. Is that truly it indeed? But Solovyov keeps telling stories about how he'll destroy everyone with Poseidon.
Did you like this video? Then don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to our Arsenal channel. The link is in the description below the video.